What's happening, everyone? Before this next leg of podcast show starts, this is a reminder to you not to be a minge bag. Go over to Patreon, sign up for £1 a week and take advantage of all the Patreon perks. It is the Patreon that pays. We have a betting show on a Saturday, which the postman here is picking winners every single week.
Yeah, the betting show comes out Saturday mornings, covers UFC and boxing, footy when we're in the footy season. But yeah, we're winning on a weekly basis. I can't remember the last week we didn't find some sort of winner. So yeah, as Andy says, don't be a minge bag, come and get involved. And as I say, it's one of the best communities that you could be a part of, isn't it?
It's a belter. As well as the betting show on a Wednesday, me and Jord have a chat. That's where you might have seen on our Insta Reels about crocs, about harpooning people at the end of the night, all that kind of chat that goes on. And even better, every single Wednesday we do a raffle draw and our sponsors Montrex give £100 gift voucher away just for being on Patreon. No better time to join. There's 30 plus episodes already that you can go back and watch. Again, no better time. Get involved. Don't be a minge bag. £1 a week and we'll see you there.
What's happening, everyone? It's the Sportscast. It's me, Andy Grant.
It's me, Jordan Neild.
So big shout out again. Thanks for all the support to everyone who is on Patreon, not being a minge bag. We are doing our Wednesday shows. You've got the betting show. So if you're not signed up already, get onto Patreon. It's £1 a week and you will not have me calling you a minge bag anymore. Also, we give away £100 Montrex gift voucher every single week just for being on Patreon. So we gave out another £100 this week. So again, get involved once again and take advantage of all that. Big shout out Montrex, Ver Clothing and Health Kit Kitchen, our sponsors. All the links are in the bio if you want to take advantage of everything that they are offering. Boom. That's the housekeeping done. Massive week of sport, George. That's been and coming up as well.
Great to be back, isn't it?
Great to be back. The footy, obviously, he was gone for a while and it's just back thicker and faster than ever before. I think with the transfer window still staying open, it just seems like madness is going on every single day.
Yeah, everyone's unsettled still, aren't they?
Big time. Yeah, I can understand why clubs want it to be closed for like the first game of the season because you're kind of looking at your team thinking, oh yeah, they're shite then next week. And then you think, fucking hell, he just signed 2 or 3 players. It's
the same for us as well. Like on Liverpool, we've got a bit of like an injury in midfield crisis going on. And then, you know, I seen yesterday, although I'll be happy about it, Naby Keita saying he wants to leave. If you're already short of players, and then one of your midfielders that you might have to rely on goes, all right, I'm not happy, I want to leave. And you've got, like a couple of weeks to turn it around. At least if there's a date.
I didn't actually even see that story. What did he say?
Yeah, he said he's unhappy with playing time. So that he's looking, apparently they're in advanced stages of like a Mexican, yeah.
Did anyone tell him he's got limited playing time because he's shite?
No, but someone posted saying someone who's crap at the job complaining about job conditions. But it was it was just last night. But I thought it was just Twitter talk. But then a couple of the big sort of, you know, like the breaking news journalists who now make a career out of breaking like transfer news, they were sort of running with it as well. So it would yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing the back of him. But what the point is like is Klopp would then have to go and buy a midfielder because I know he's like saying, you know, I've got faith in Elliott and all that stuff, and that's great. But we literally would have like 4 midfielders fit.
I do. I have got sympathy with Klopp, though. I know like people are kind of bemoaning the starts that we've had, but if we haven't got that unluckiness of kind of having so many injuries, you know, he's right. The midfield's all right. Do you know what I mean? It's just that now it looks like he hasn't strengthened when he should have, and I think Klopp has done that well over the last few years. You just got to believe in him and trust him. You know, the Twitter virgins have been on fire this past week because of Liverpool's lacklustre start, and it's frustrating.
I think they should never be immune to criticism at all because of the standards they've set for themselves. But I think it doesn't tell the entire picture. I mean, to be honest, I was more concerned with Palace than I was with Fulham because I thought Fulham just played exceptionally well. Like, yeah, we weren't at the races, but Fulham deserved at least a point out of that game. It wasn't like they done well. I know Henderson hit the bar, but they done well. I mean, but then just getting frustrated by Palace at home. That annoyed me more than Fulham did. You know what I mean? I can take that point away, but at home, the Nunez thing, I'm sure we're going to talk about. But that was more frustrating for me.
Yeah, I think for me, it wasn't even the fact that it's 2 draws in the first 2 games. It's the opposition. Again, like I agree with what you say. You can half kind of say Fulham have just come up, points away from home, first game of the season. But points against Palace, where normally, it's 2 or 3-0 or, at least 2 or 3 goal cushion. That was the kind of frustrating thing. But again, I think the start of the footy bit to talk about is how woeful we've been, how woeful United are, and how woeful Everton are. I mean,
we're all bad, aren't we?
the weird thing is as well is obviously City, like you'd expect, 2 wins from 2. It's not so much them what's concerning me. It's Chelsea and Arsenal
Mm.
and Spurs even. I
Yeah.
think that gap between us and third place, I think we still obviously will finish second, but I think Chelsea, Tottenham, Arsenal are all looking really good.
The only thing with Arsenal is, like, if you watch the games, I think Arsenal will drop points because although they are like the much more solid, they've still got, like, against Palace, they were still like giving away chances as well as impressive as they was like on the ball. Like Jesus looks unbelievable. Like he looks so sharp.
I look at Martinelli as well.
Yeah, Martinelli looks a good player, but Martinelli's always looked good, hasn't he? Just hasn't really put it together yet, which he looks like he's doing. But I thought I got it wrong with Chelsea and Spurs because I thought Spurs might have overtaken Chelsea a little bit. But then when you watch that game the other day, I thought Chelsea were a lot better than Spurs. Like, I mean, that new formation they're playing, which is kind of like the right back becomes like sort of a centre mid sort of thing. I know that's quite like a popular thing with footy teams now, but Ruben Loftus-Cheek might have found his position at 28 years old because he's so athletic and he's so, he can make the ground up so quickly.
Yeah.
He's such an asset to have because there was a couple of times where they've gone from just like boring possession, and then because he's so quick, he'll break the line from right back to like into the final third, and no one even knows who to pick him up.
No,
Do you know what I mean? I think Chelsea, as much as I thought they were going to be in a bit of a tough period with all the signings, I think they've probably, outside the City, been like the most impressive that I've watched so far, I think.
And not only that, it looks like the signings haven't stopped as well. There's even more talk for Anthony Gordon now going there. I mean, I said Anthony Gordon should have went to Newcastle when that kind of bid came in. I think he definitely should go to Chelsea. I mean,
I would get rid of him though. Everton should definitely sell.
Yeah, but they're already light up top. They're talking about Dele Alli going as well.
Yeah, I think, but I seen there's some rumours that Everton are going to sign, or they're trying to sign Neil Maupay from Brighton, which I don't think would be a bad signing for them at this point. But it's like Gordon. I think he's a good player. He could develop into a really good player, but it's all like could, isn't it? He's not really. To me, it's a bit like. I mean, I had the conversation watching a game with Dad the other day. It's like Harvey Elliott. I think Harvey Elliott's a class player, and he looks like he's got loads of potential. But that's all at the moment. We've not actually seen the transfer of potential to performance, have we? Do you know what I mean? In any given game, and I feel like
you don't want to kind of sell them on, and then in 5 years' time you're buying them back for 3 times the amount you sold them for.
Exactly, and that's the point. But I think for Everton, if they got 50 mil for him, and then they go and sign a proven goal scorer like Maupay, who's not a world-class striker by any stretch of the imagination, but he scores between 12 and 15 Prem goals for Brighton in his couple of seasons. Everton bite your hand off for that. And then, go and invest in other parts of the team because I know Everton have, they've faltered as well, but the lad who come on, Onana, looks like a really good player. So they've got some bright sparks. I think if they can invest the money wisely, but again, can you trust Everton to invest the money wisely is the biggest question, isn't it?
The problem is, I agree with getting a striker in, but I just think they need a striker and keep a couple of players as well, though, because they're going to get rid of Dele Alli, which I just want to touch on now. What a sad story that is. I've seen a little, someone put some cheesy music on with Jose Mourinho's kind of pep talk when he was at Spurs, and it is sad to think that the player he was, the potential he had, and where it's gone away. I think I've said to you a few times on the podcast, he was one of the players when I've done the motivational talk to the England team who never disrespected me or pissed me off, but I just thought, because as soon as Gareth Southgate turned around and said, right, lads, your time's your own, he went, nice one, and he ran back the accommodation block, and I thought, we'd spent 24 hours with them, and, everyone was really welcoming, really, and he just looked like he couldn't be arsed being there. Do you know what I mean? And I thought his attitude then, for the 24 hours I spent with him, said a lot. And then you see what happened with him at Spurs. You now see Man Everton, and now going to Besiktas at 28. You think
26, isn't he?
26, sorry, it might be.
Even worse, it's like
what a waste, and it's just like I feel quite sad for how his career's just petered out.
I do, because Mourinho was bang on, mate, and I think what Dele Alli portrays to the public is different to the way he behaves in and around the training ground. I think, because if you look at it now, he says all the right stuff. I want to play. I want to do this. I want to do that. And you see when Frank Lampard signed him, there was a little clip, and he was like, "Oh, thankfully we got it done." So Lampard's obviously excited about it, but then it must be when he gets to the training field, it's just like his whole attitude just changes, and it's that. Do you know what he epitomizes? Like, talent's not enough, because he's got so much talent. Like, I mean, if you were to do, like, I don't know, if you could come up a test for, like, go and land that ball there, or go and score that goal, or do that trick or something, he's as good as anyone. But it's when all the talent plateaus, it's what have you got different to everyone else then? And he clearly hasn't got anything. To end up in Turkey at 26, I know, like Stephen Colker went at like 39 or something. To go at 26,
yeah,
it's mad. You are right. It is. It actually is sad. It's
should be like one of the main names, or one of the first names in England's World Cup big coming up. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I think like the last time he wasn't he? And he was he must have been 22, something, and like, but he was starting behind Harry Kane in a Spurs team at his early 20s. If you'd have said then, when he scored all them goals, and he scored that volley against Palace, he scored the worldie at Old Trafford. If you'd have said in 5 years you'd be in Turkey, everyone would have gone, "You're mad, mate. You are mad."
Yeah. So I think if we just touch on Everton, then obviously 2 defeats, got beat by Villa at the weekend.
Yeah.
I said at the start of the season, I think that they'd be in with a chance of going down. They then started signing a couple of players, and I thought, actually, you know what, they got Cody and they got that midfielder in. I thought, okay, maybe they won't go down. But then again, they start selling like Ali, pushing him on, start getting Gordon on. I start then thinking again, actually, then maybe they might. I mean, it's not a great start for them.
No.
And
I think, though, if you watch the games,
score some goals from that.
Yeah, that's the main problem, because I've watched both of Everton's games, actually. So in the Chelsea game, the difference between them and Chelsea, who I've just said I was most impressed with single performance, was a stupid foul by Decore, because they defended really well. Like, it was a close game, and then obviously they've gone and got beat by Villa, which I think the Villa defeat. I had a bet on Aston Villa when he played Bournemouth, which meant I watched the whole game. And I think if you watch that game, the result didn't really tell the whole story. So I think people looked into the fact that Villa got beat there and thought that it would be, oh my God, they're struggling. I think Villa are a better team than Everton, and I think they'll finish higher than Everton. And I think that's all it was. But I think if they can, if it doesn't pay to like shore up your back line, which they have. Tarkowski looks a really good player for the level. Patterson's come in for Coleman, looks good. Cody's obviously a proven Premier League defender. They look good that end, but if you can't score any goals, like it's cancelling one out for the other. But I think if they can get someone in who can score, that's why I'm talking about Mopé so much. Then I think they will be they'll be mid-table. But I think it's kind of annoying, because they've assessed, for an Everton fan, they've assessed the defensive issues, and then the top of the pitch is just it's probably worse than it was last year.
We got they're at home this weekend, Nottingham Forest. I think that's going to be a big one. At home against the team they're expected to beat. If they're not beating them, I think that's when real alarm bells will start ringing.
I was impressed by Forest against West Ham.
Yeah, I know.
Do you know what I mean? Do you know what annoyed me? Talking about FPL, which I said I've got proper into, and we have. You're ahead of me already, and I'm annoyed at it.
I told you.
But I watched that Taiwo Iwani last year, and I thought he'll be a handful in the Prem. And then I put him in my fancy team as my third striker, and then he had an ownership of like 0.02% or something like that. And I was like, obviously, then everyone thinks he's crap. No one's going to have him. So I took him out. He started against West Ham and absolutely bullied. I've not seen a striker bully someone physically as much as he did, Kurt Zouma. He was picking him up and moving him. And he's not technically the most gifted striker in the world, but he's an absolute nightmare.
Yeah, no, I've enjoyed the little fancy football the first couple of weeks, mate. Obviously, we've got a lot of our patrons on board as well. £2.5 grand, I think it is, in the pot or something like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm absolutely flying with it.
I'm taking it deadly serious. The Salah deciding to get like a 2 around Crystal Palace is not ideal.
I know, I was gutted that I didn't captain Jesus. That was my only thing. I captained Haaland instead, but
yeah, I captained Haaland, but it was on the other side of the first week. I went for Kane at home to Southampton rather than Haaland away at West Ham.
Mm.
Our Tottenham winning 4-1 and Kane not scoring or assisting anything.
Yeah, I don't know.
Joke, but I am loving it.
Mate, the other one I wanted to touch on was about United. Sorry, before going on to United, we mentioned then Chelsea and Tottenham. The kind of what would you call it? Like the handbags, would you call it? At the end of Tuchel and
I love that.
I love it too. I seen Carragher come out and say he loved it and stuff, and I think, like that's what you want to see, isn't it? And I think that's what's impressing me about Tottenham and Chelsea as well. Not only they made some good signings, I think they've both got managers there that they don't like remind me of Klopp in the same way, but they're just proper characters, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? Especially Conte.
Yeah, I love Conte. He reminds me of Simeone, but I love Marmite managers. Like I've got a proper soft spot for them. I love people like if it's your manager, you love them, but if they play against you, you hate them. And I just think Conte's a master with that.
Yeah, there was that, mate, which I thought was good, and then obviously the Liverpool game. I was at the Palace game when Nunez had his kind of handbags moment, and there was a clip. I don't know if you've seen it on Twitter. I retweeted them.
Yeah.
I just watched the whole, interaction between the defender and Nunez for the whole game, and it was just perfect defending. He absolutely played Nunez for a fool. And in the end, Nunez has shown his naivety, his age, threw the nut on him, and got himself sent off. And I think cost Liverpool 3 points.
I do. I think his performance weren't great anyway, but I think the biggest red flag is that, because I think Klopp will be sort of thinking, if you can't handle Joachim Anderson at home at Anfield, giving you a bit, what are you going to do in the derby in a big Champions League semi-final at the Etihad? I know it won't be the same in terms of they probably won't be as physical, but if you can't handle the pressure of that, we're going to want to be competing in the biggest club football games that you can possibly compete in.
The thing is, though, he already had a target on his back now, being the big money, the big money signing. But now people are watching that and thinking, I know what to do now to wind them up. So he's just put an even bigger target on his back for other defenders, and properly disappointed me. I seen him obviously
more pressure, isn't it? Because everyone now, when he comes back after 3 games, it's like he's got to come back now and start banging in goals. Because if his first 10 games in the Premier League are he come on and scored against Fulham, then he got sent off, and then say in the 5 games after that he scores 1, suddenly you're judged then, aren't you? And Haaland could be on, I don't know, 8-9 goals by then. Do you know what I mean? And even more. But I think what the telling point was, I don't know if you've seen Klopp's post-match. He was like, usually Klopp will defend players to the hilt, won't he? And you could sort of see it in his eyes, I'm going to have a chat to him sort of thing. And I think his biggest problem now, Nunez, is Klopp. Because I don't think Klopp will just let him save that ban and then go, yeah, lad, go straight back in that team. I think he's now got to go and prove himself as worthy of not having the ability to play for Liverpool, but being able to handle playing for Liverpool.
I think as well with Klopp, it wouldn't surprise me whether Nunez now is going to be getting judged on, how much effort he's putting in off the pitch, as in sounds stupid, but learning the language. Some players who just turn up and he don't bother learning English. I think Klopp's the type, and the team around him will be looking to see, right, what's he doing? Is he getting settled in the area? Is he learning the language? Is he making an effort with the lads? You can't do it on the pitch. So these are the things that need to be getting looked at and need to be getting improved upon.
He's just turned a massive spotlight on himself, mate. He's literally just gone and just put himself front and centre. I think, from Joachim Anderson doing what he did, perfect. I think that's great defending. He knew exactly. I think he must have given one in the first minute, seen a reaction and just gone, bang, that's the lottery for me. Because you're not thinking about the game now. You're thinking about me.
Like there was one time when I was a kid, like playing left back, and there was a winger who was brilliant. And my manager said to him, like, just talk to him all game. Like, do you know him? And like, I didn't know him. I knew a little bit of. I think we went to separate schools, but we had mutual friends and stuff. And I was just, talking to him and just saying, "Oh, do you still speak to so and so? Do you still speak?" And the ball would be going over, and he wouldn't even be in the game. You know what I mean? Just talking to him all game, and like, there's just so many little of the dark arts as defending, and I can say Nunez fell for it big time, man.
But it puts us in a strange position. I mean, I'm hoping in my mind that obviously the 2 draws added to the fact that we're playing United on Monday, and then added to the fact again that Nunez has gone. I'm just hoping our Lord and Saviour Mo Salah goes like, right, enough's enough. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And because I think Salah's looked sharp, but he's almost like, because of the signing of Nunez, he's sort of turned into a winger, hasn't he?
He did play in a slightly different position, it looked like, yeah. But I think like, there'll be no worries about Salah getting 20 plus again this season. I think he'll kick on. And
I mean, if he wants to pick it up on Monday, that will be much appreciated.
I am a little bit nervous just on the back that, those 2 draws that we've got, and United also being really, really shit. I think United are a club in proper disarray to kind of finish on them. It looks like there's going to be a new bid coming in. It was the guy who nearly signed Chelsea. Not signed Chelsea, bought Chelsea, Ratcliffe. He's come out this morning saying he's like super serious about it. But the whole club, I mean, every single day you've seen a different transfer. Apparently they've just had 130 million bid for that João Felix rejected.
Yeah, proper panic by that. You don't need an attacking midfielder.
You got Ronaldo, the Ronaldo saga continuing. He's just been cautioned as well now for slapping that phone off the kid's hand at Goodison. Then after Pulisic now, seeing Casemiro, that Rabiot from Juventus. Looks like Isma's wanted too much money. Isma's agent.
I've seen that. Isma's agent. Mate, there must be some tense discussions then.
Oh, God, imagine. That Casiedo, I think. I'm just concerned that there's just every single time I go onto the, meet Sky Sports app, they're just signing someone else, and yet they're not signing anyone.
Mate, they're signing the wrong players. Like, if you watch Man United, just forget about. I know McTominay and Fred are terrible, and I get it. But what you need to do is just start this end of the pitch and then move that way, because De Gea's been finished for 5 years. Like, the defense, Harry Maguire, it's not even a joke anymore. He's just terrible. Like, did you see the stuff he's been doing? He lined up on the wrong side of the tunnel at home.
He got lost, didn't he, as well?
He went to the other changey. So you got him. You got, I don't even know, that lad playing next to him who's 5'9", playing centre half in the Prem.
Crazy on that. And
then you got Luke Shaw.
A few nights with United fans, and it's really, really concerning for them. Like, I mean, it's great for me to laugh at, but I think, God, bad times for United.
And everyone draws this comparison of how Liverpool went through it in the 90s and, managed to claw it back and all this stuff. Like, the game's gone. That game is gone. Like, if you give away too much, like, footway now, you're not going to claw it back.
No.
Like, the game's totally different. Like, I know Chelsea had quite a few years and then put loads of money in and got back, but everyone's got money now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You're not going to... You only have to look at the people who bought Chelsea. Yet they're like, the quadrillionaires or whatever they are. But it doesn't change anything because everyone can compete for players.
Yeah.
It's not like the game that it was when Liverpool were trying to play catch or Chelsea.
Mate, the one last thing I was going to touch on a footy, unless you've got anything else, was well, you've got the horrible kind of stories of gigs, all that gig stuff's going on at the moment.
God, yeah.
The Mendy stuff still going on. I think someone else has come out and said there's another person and all that stuff. But the last one I was going to finish on, which I thought was quite funny, was did you see Graham Souness's remarks when he said that
man's game?
The man's game, and then the woman sitting next to him was a bit like squirmishing and stuff. And then the backlash on Twitter, you're like, fucking hell, mate.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a fucking joke that what people can and can't say without people getting offended. Do you know what I mean?
Graham Souness needs to get Patreon. You can say whatever you want on there.
But like, the amount of stuff, I think probably 99% 99% of the population say, and then it's just for the fact that he's on telly and someone can go, "Oh, I find that offensive." Fuck off.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
what he said was, "We've got our game back. It's a man's game." He wasn't saying men should play and women shouldn't.
No.
What he was talking about is the physicality of that said match was a throwback to the way football used to be.
Yeah.
Like, if that was a woman's game, he could have said, the physicality here is a throwback to the old way of football. Like, that's all he meant. He didn't mean it's an exclusive man's game. And he's like, the man's like 69 or something.
Yeah, and he's commentating on a man's game.
Yeah, I know that exactly, but I seen something the other day as well. I think it was might have even been our game, or there was a game anyway. I think it might have been Chelsea Tottenham. They're starting to call a thing player of the match.
Oh, fuck off, lad.
That they are.
What? To not offend women?
I guess so, or not offend somebody. But what else annoys me is, and I know it's his job, but Dave Jones, who's a great broadcaster, and then he jumps in and goes, "It's a woman's game as well." I understand that, but like, don't make a point of it. He was making a point about a particular game.
He's just covering his ass, and that Dave Jones doing that for Sky. Someone in his ears probably said, "Dave, just gives a little disclaimer there, mate."
But if I don't understand why it's so, like, I'm open to people explaining to me, but I don't understand why it's so offensive. We've literally just called the World Cup the Women's World Cup. And
lad, you're speaking to the wrong person here, lad. I don't give a fuck about all of that, lad.
I know, but it's mad. Like, if you want to get to it, you can start arguing about the free lions and the lionesses, can't you?
Mm-hmm.
Look, you can't call yourself the lionesses because that means I can't get involved.
Mad.
It's just take it for what it is. It's not offensive. Just relax a little bit.
Yeah.
He does talk a bit of shit, but I'm with him on that one.
No, I'm with him, lad. And else on the footy before we move on?
No, I we definitely missed something, but it just feels like a football overload.
Yeah.
One thing I did see when people were saying, so there's like reels on Instagram at the minute about like football conspiracy theories, and it's always like, they're like funny ones saying like, I don't know, one of them was like Barcelona have never. Jordi Alba's played for Barcelona for 25 years or something like that, and they just make you think. And one of them was Callum Hudson-Odoi goes out on loan every year, but you never see where he goes. And then, literally, like an hour later, there was a BBC sport article saying Hudson-Odoi set to leave on loan. He goes on loan every season.
He is. Think about it. He's one of those players. Yeah, you think, yeah.
But he was like a fella on the reels, and he was like, Hudson-Odoi goes on loan every year, but you don't know where he goes. And I was thinking in my head, where has he been on loan? Because I don't know.
I couldn't even say what he looks like anymore.
I know, but remember he was at that point, wasn't he, where he was going to Bayern Munich or something?
Really, yeah.
Yeah, but I think Newcastle have got the claws on him. Give him a little bit of dough.
Right, mate. Onto the old tennis. Then we had one of the Patreons suggested, because it comes across that I give Emma Raducanu a bad time, which I don't.
You do.
I don't. I just think she just got built up far too quickly. Anyway, she's just recently in Cincinnati. She's warming up for the US Open. She's just beat absolute legend Serena Williams, who's already announced their retirement. I think the US Open is going to be her last tournament. Emma Raducanu was actually the favourite in the match as well. And she beat Serena in straight sets, which I've made up for her. I'm absolutely made up.
You remind me of that fella off Come Down With Me, when he opens the scroll. Well done, Emma. What a sad little life.
I am made up for Emma that she's obviously beat Serena. I know Serena's on the verge of retirement, but still an amazing thing to do. Now she's booked a place in the last 16. So if she can have a good little run in this, sets her up perfect for the US Open.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't bet on it, but I definitely didn't see that coming. But I'm not in the bashing bandwagon the way you are, but at least she's got a positive result. Do you know what I mean? It's
just saying that she's not lived up to the hype of winning the US Open.
Well done, Emma. What a sad little life. Tickle me that, but yeah, great win. But as you say, it's hopefully it's a springboard onto bigger and better things, isn't it? I mean, Serena, she's going to quit, isn't she?
Yeah, the US Open's going to be a final kind of I think what a perfect way to kind of balance. Do you know what I mean?
Unbelievable athlete, mate.
Yeah, what she is, probably, you know, up there top 10.
I've said this before on here, right? I honestly think that like there's not many people who can intimidate me, but she would. If she was like, I would like. She's just like another level of human being.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? She's like
very,
a
very
dog.
inspiring.
She's a
Yeah,
beast.
she's going to be there then at the US Open.
Mm.
Nadal was also at Cincinnati, got beat down. It was his first game since his injury at Wimbledon. He's been knocked out. Again, you just don't know what he's going to be like to you anymore now. He's another one who's on the whole Serena kind of timeline of how long left has he got. But he's out there anyway. And probably just get ready for the US Open now.
Yeah, our Andy Murray got beat as well, didn't he?
That doesn't surprise me. I didn't actually see that.
He got beat by fellow Brit Cameron Norrie. I'm not saying I've just seen it this morning, but then he's out as well.
Well, it's one of them, and a fellow Brit who's not really British, but is British. Do you know what I mean? It's
British when he beats Andy Murray.
Yeah, exactly. Fucking Canadian. I didn't know as well. There's so many sports people who aren't actually born in England. You know, who represent.
There's loads.
There's someone come to mind the other day, and I didn't even know who was it. It'll come to me in a bit, and I was like, "Fucking hell, they're not even British either." As we literally have
loads of them. There's loads, and we could do a show on that on its own.
I think we should. You know,
let's do
it. People who we claim to be our own, who actually aren't even born in this country, but we're just going to say they're really good at running, they're really good at boxing, they're really good at tennis. So come on, we can be British.
Come on down.
We're
horrible, aren't we? We are horrible.
I'll be honest. You know what else is horrible? That I got that excited when I saw the headline of Tiger Woods and Live tournament. I thought, oh my God, he's done it. He's fucking took his 800 million and he's joined the Live tour. But actually, the headline was a bit deceiving because it looks like Tiger Woods has kind of gone and had a meeting to try and kind of iron everything out and try and, from what I've read, a little bit of a peacekeeper in it and try and, you know, get kind of the tour PGA on side and the Live on side and stuff. That's what I've read from it. You know, Rory McIlroy's come out and said he kind of hails alpha figure Woods when players are kind of discussing it, but I don't know. I reckon it could be in there that he just goes, "Oof, 800 million, I'm off."
I reckon he'll go in that room and go like, "Hello, everyone, just here for some peace talks." Out of interest, what would you offer me if it did say I'd come over? I think 700 million. Go on then. But yeah, I seen Cameron Smith whiffed through, didn't he, as well, with like I think he said he had tension in his hip or something, also known as wallet weighing him down. You got his little signing on fee.
I think Tiger's going in, you know, and he's speaking to like the 20 players or whatever, or he's speaking to the players who aren't currently on the Live, and he's like, yeah, lads, no, completely understand, yeah. And then he's going to the Live, and he's like, yeah, fucking boys, yeah, I'm in, fuck it, I'm in. Yeah. Whatever's got said that previous meeting, it's just in one ear, out the other, and he's like, yeah, fuck it, boys, I'm in. Give me that fat paycheck now.
Is there any way we can do this on the down low?
Yeah. I've just told all them that I'm backing them, so if there's any way, you know, maybe.
The first Live tournament would be like, oh, you know, Tiger came for peace talks, and then 5 minutes later being on the tee, Tiger Woods.
I think it's a sooner rather than later thing now. I mean, who knows? But
yeah. Seen something desperate from Saudi today, though. Did you see it on Twitter? They put it in. Like, I know we joke about it, and I sort of said that, you know, sportsmen don't have an obligation to sort of be there for your human rights or to support whatever. They put a woman in jail for 34 years for having Twitter.
Seeing that, yeah. Yeah, she was studying in she was studying in the UK, wasn't she?
She had 159 followers, apparently.
It's fucking scary, isn't it? Like,
34 years. And then after she gets out, she got 34-year travel ban.
And yeah, and on the other hand, we're all like, yeah, you know, Saudi, great. They've just given all these sports people so much money. Yeah, great. And then doing that.
All I'm thinking is, mate, if they ever logged onto our Patreon, we have, and we had any sort of like, if the UK tries to take anything and then logs onto our Patreon, me and you are going down, mate, 150.
I'd have everyone after me. That wouldn't even be the Saudis. It'd be everyone. I think I've probably offended fucking everyone these past, 6 months.
If they put us in court for, like, you know, if the world went that way, me and you wouldn't even have to have like lawyers, not, you know, we just have to go, Sam boys, sorry. We're off.
Can
we get a mic and a camera in the cell?
Yeah, we could just do the pod from prison, lad.
It looks like prison where we are now. This is what we do, StreamYard.
Mate, the last one before we touch on a massive weekend of UFC and boxing was I saw Cheltenham are reducing the attendance for next year.
Yeah.
So
it is busy, man.
Yeah, so attendance record last year was 280,000 for both. So Thursday was 73,000, Friday was 73.
Yeah.
They're going to cap the capacity now in order to enhance the experience after on-the-day complaints. I reckon that's just people going to the bar 5, 6 deep, going, this is fucking shit.
No, but lad, you know, if you've got a tat ticket, a standard ticket, it's a good 45 minutes to get a beer, you know.
Well, it is, unless you do what I do and then go at the start of the day when you get your first round in.
Get nailed.
Drop one of the waiter or waitresses 20 quid and just go, if you could just look after us when you see us, please, mate.
Yeah, but you've also got the ultimate trump card. You just start limping. Oh, I'm in a bad way. everyone be in Cheltenham just limping. You
weren't fucking moaning when I was limping with your fucking pint.
No. I mean, it's a fantastic trump card to have. I'm just saying, not everyone can have it. No, but I think it's probably a good thing as long as it's not. The only thing they shouldn't try and do is like dampen what Cheltenham is, because it is a bit rowdy in that.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? Let it be that like festival of mentalness. But I understand, like, because it is sort of like, especially in the mix, you know, you are like sardines a little bit.
Yeah.
Just try and keep the atmosphere for what it is. Do you know what I mean? Like the scream when the first race goes off and, like, you know, beers getting thrown and that.
The other one on the horse racing, you've just mentioned it then. I didn't actually see it. I'm away at the moment, but Baid absolutely smoked everyone again to make it 10 out of 10.
Lad, I know, like, I probably weren't old enough or appreciate sport enough to, like, really be into Frankel that much. I've obviously seen the races and all that, and at the time I watched them, but I weren't like. But I've never seen, like, and it's weird because it's a horse, isn't it? But I've never seen an athlete go from one pace to the next that quick.
Yeah,
mate, he went from, like, obviously just cantering or whatever to, like, putting the race to bed, 7th length victory in like 4 yards.
I want to watch it as soon as this is finished. I need to see it. Like,
it felt like one of them moments. It felt like Usain Bolt at the Olympics. It was like, what are we watching here?
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? But they want him to go. Like, people are trying to get him to, you know, one way or another, get into the arc, aren't they? To go, because then if he was to go and win the arc, because just be like, it could go down as like the best ever or whatever. But yeah, it was a like take your breath away sort of sport moment of like, that is just incredible.
Mate, left you the last 20 minutes to kind of have the floor, mate, with your big passion, mate, boxing and UFC. It's obviously a massive.
Where should we start? Should we go UFC or
go UFC and finish off on the big Joshua card? Because I mean, it's gonna be heavy, isn't it?
Yeah. So
I'm in Santorini at the moment. My friend's getting married Thursday, so today record. So yesterday, when you guys listening, and I'm already tentatively at the wedding party saying to people, all the fellas, you're watching the fight Saturday. try not to take anything away from the wedding, but I'm just kind of, where the fuck do you watch the boxing in Santorini? So if anyone knows and been to Santorini, you got a good little bar, let me know, because I'm going to be here Saturday night. So I would like to watch it.
There's got to be a little English pub trying to sell a breakfast for fucking £2 somewhere, lad. There's got to be. There's always one.
I don't think it's Santorini, lad. Fucking
I know, yeah. Might be one of the nicest places on earth, but there will be one fella with a pub called the Georges or something trying to sell a brekkie.
Yeah.
But
so let me know. So go on, crack on, George.
Yeah, so over in mad place to do a UFC world title fight, Salt Lake City, which is, I mean, I'm sure it's a lovely place. Have you been? Did you say you've been? Or you stopped there or something?
I stopped there. So when me and you went to Vegas for the
Fury Wilder,
I took my old man as a retirement gift, and the cheeky bastard moaned at me because all he'd done, because he has a smoke. My daddy smokes the rollies. He's nearly having a heart attack that he couldn't have a smoke for, like, you know, the 14 hours it was, whatever flight, because we flew to Salt Lake City. And the whole trip, and my half I was going, where's Salt Lake City? And he looked on the map, and when it's like the kind of northwest, he's like, we've fucking flown past Vegas to fucking get here. I'd connecting flights taking off, and my dad's running through the airport trying to get a smoker's area where he could have his fag. So, my only experience of Salt Lake City is the seeing me half, and I've run around the airport for half an hour trying to have a smoke.
Mate, I stopped in Chicago, and it was I think it was -11 or something. We had to walk out the airport to get the bus to the other terminal, mate. Cold. But back on that, yeah, Salt Lake City, Leon Edwards, our very own Leon Edwards, is fighting Kamaru Usman for the belt.
Sponsored by Montrex.
Sponsored by Montrex. The seen the Montrex lads this week, and they've gone out to show their support for him. But it's like this welterweight title is it's been a bit of a Brits can't get hold of it. That a couple of years ago, Dan Hardy fought GSP, got beat, and then obviously Till went over to fight Tyron Woodley for this belt and got submitted. So it's been sort of like a poison chalice for like British fighters. But this is a fight that's been sort of in the pipeline for a long time. They actually fought each other before.
They fought, like, was it the second or third fight? Was it in the UFC?
Yeah. So they was, I think it was Kamaru Usman's second fight in the UFC. Leon Edwards' fourth fight in the UFC. And I learned this week that on that card they were like on the early prelims, so the one that doesn't even get like shown on the TV sort of thing. And they were on there, but yeah, it's a great fight, and obviously there's not much you can take away from the first fight really, because when Usman come into the UFC, he was just a wrestler, just a fella who was really successful at high school and college wrestling, and just learned that he could make money out of it, sort of thing. But now, obviously, you see the knockouts of Masvidal. He knocked out Gilbert Burns as well. It's like he's now got the entire arsenal now. He can knock you out, or he can get hold of you and throw you down like a ragdoll. But Leon Edwards is again. He's sort of. I think he's 10-0. You know, like
he's on a crazy win streak, isn't he?
Yeah, but like he's just. I mean, I think he's only had the Nate Diaz fight. It's been his only fight in a number of years, because he had another one with Bilal Muhammad, but then that got no contested for an eye poke. But he's a fighter that doesn't get any credit. Like even from British fight fans, like if this was any other British fighter going over to fight for the welterweight title, you only have to see what it was like when Till went over to fight Woodley.
It really pissed me off his last fight, mate, when he actually schooled Diaz. And then the last seconds got caught, and all of a sudden it was the Diaz show. And it was like, fucking hell, man.
And that's just the story of Leon Edwards' career. It's like he's so good and he's so well rounded that he's almost too good. It's like boring. It's like there's no sort of jeopardy with him. But obviously that was a point of jeopardy with Nate Diaz. But if you watch that entire fight, he embarrassed Diaz for like the entire fight. The only reason he got caught is because it was too easy for him. He was like, he was just coasting. And, I think he, in my opinion, outside of Chimaev, who we don't really know where he can go, he could be anything. These are the two best welterweights in the world for me, and I think they both know it. I think Usman's give Edwards the respect that he deserves, that probably fans should give him, and Edwards the same, because, there's a real argument that Kamaru Usman is the best UFC or best MMA fighter, pound for pound on the planet. So you have to give him respect, but I just think it's such a well-matched fight, because everything that Kamaru Usman does well, so does Leon Edwards. And, everything that, like the wrestling, for example, in the first fight, Leon Edwards shown that he can't stuff them. He's not going to just get put on his back and just lie down. But
there's a risk then of it just being a boring fight and cancelling each other out.
Yeah, I think it could be, very, very tactical, yeah. And the one worry I have for Leon is, I don't think he's got enough one-punch power to put Usman away. And I think he could stop him, don't get me wrong. I mean, he had a triangle locked in the first fight. He's very good off his back, and that he could get a submission if it presented itself. But I think he'd have to land 5 clean shots to put Usman away. And although Usman has been hurt in the past, it's going to be hard to stop him. And I just don't think he can win on points as clean as he needs to get it. So it's like a rock and a hard place sort of situation. But when you counteract that with the fact that Colby Covington, who's just a wrestler and has got pretty limited boxing ability, he was catching Usman clean, and then Edwards is much better than Covington, so put them two together, you would imagine that he would land clean. So for every negative, there's a positive on both sides, which either makes for like an amazing fight that's going to be unreal, swing and roundabouts thing, or it's just going to be a proper middle of the road, like both of them just sort of giving it one of these. You know what I mean? So I guess you can either take that pessimistically, or you can like sort of get it behind the intrigue and be like, I'm watching what could either be one of the most boring fights of all time or one of the best fights of all time. So I think that's sort of where they are. But there's so much on the undercard, the prelims and stuff, the main card. I mean, the King of Rio's back, Jose Aldo against Merab. Dvalishvili, get in. I've been practicing that since I woke up. But yeah, so he's back. And I mean, obviously Jose Aldo's close to now getting if he wins this especially, close to getting another world title shot at bantamweight. I mean, when you look at his career, like for me, he's the best featherweight of all time, despite the fact he got slept by McGregor, which was just, that was, I don't know if it was fate or whatever it was, but it happened. But what he's done since then, and then rebuilt himself into this, like, another level monster. I don't think there's a person in the world who doesn't like or support Jose Aldo. You know what I mean? He's just...
It is sad, isn't it, to think what McGregor's done, right? Yeah, he beat him, and then, McGregor did go on to be a two-weight champion. But since then, his record has been pretty dismal.
Mm-hmm.
And yet you look at Aldo, his rise, and then you look where they both are thought upon and stuff. It just shows you the world, the crazy world we live in, where it's all about, the trash talking and the making this character almost. Because when it comes to just the MMA, the careers have went like that, and not the way you'd expect.
Yeah, I mean, I know Jose Aldo hasn't earned, even a fraction of the money that Conor McGregor has, but he's still a wealthy man. Do you know what I mean? He's still got a lot of money. So for him to like what he did with McGregor, obviously then he lost to Holloway back to back. Sort of he beat Frankie Edgar in the middle of that, but then he won 2 fights and then he lost another 3. Volkanovski, Moraes, Peter Yan. So then at loads of times in Aldo's career, it's been like he's done. You know what I mean? And he's got enough money to walk away. He's got enough respect to walk away. He's 35 now. He could have walked away, but to continue to take yourself back and go, right, I might be on a 3-fight skid, but I can improve in this. And now he's on a 3-fight win streak and on the edge of another world title shot. I think it takes a special human to be able to do that, man, because it would be very easy for him to go back. He's the King of Rio. He literally is the King of Rio. Like, he could go back to Brazil, pick up any job he wanted as like an ambassador, or, they'd give him a couple $100,000 a year, no problem, to do anything. But he is continuously in the gym, just working to become another world champion. And I think that's what sets apart like true athletes, doesn't it? Away from everything else. But so yeah, I'm buzzing to watch him come back because obviously I'm a massive fan. The co-main event's a mad one. Paulo Costa against Luke Rockhold. So Luke Rockhold is a former champion from a good few years ago. He's had no win in the UFC since 2017. But let me see what. I just need to get my dates right on when he actually came back. But Luke Rockhold had a rivalry with Michael Bisping years ago, and he's a bit of a Marmite character. Like, he's a good-looking fella. But he's a little bit of a weird guy. Like, do you know what I mean? He's a strange dude.
A little bit of a weird guy, dude.
He's just everything about him's just weird. Do you know what I mean? Like, but he's like an Adonis. He's a proper athlete. He's like, even as a straight male, you look at him and think, mate, you are a good looking dude. Do you know what I mean? It just gets you that way. But he's like, I mean, in his press conference this week, he just went off on one about Dana White being like a crap businessman. And like, he doesn't care about whether he's going to upset people. It's a joke, all of healthcare and the pay stuff. He went off on one like that. But when you look at his actual record, I mean, he beat David Branch in 2017. And then 2018, he got knocked out by Yoel Romero. Come back in 2019 at light heavyweight and got knocked out by Jan Blachowicz. And then obviously he got knocked out a couple of years ago by Michael Bisping. He's now coming back again to try and sort of climb the ladder once again. At the tender age of 37, it's just a bit weird. Do you know what I mean? It's like, what? I don't understand why he's doing it. But
why is he the main?
Why is he sorry? What? I didn't catch that.
He's on the main card. Did he just say?
Yeah, because he's such a big name. He's the co-main event. He's a former champion. When he was in the UFC, he was a big attraction. And obviously, Paulo Costa, went and got knocked out by Idril Adesanya, and then I think he weighed in. I can't remember the fight, but one of his fights after that, he weighed in like 35 pounds heavy or something, 30 pounds heavy, something crazy like that. So these are a pair of like flawed characters, but it's like it's what we've just said about Edwards. Like he's almost too straight and too boring. Like not him as a person, but his career for like people to really get behind it. Where then you put two flawed fellas together as the co-main event.
Yeah.
Like, he was saying after the Adesanya fight that the reason he lost is because he was on the red wine the night before, Paulo Costa. And then, like, stuff like that. And then everyone's like, oh, my God, let's get behind this fight. It's like, I don't know what it is with combat sport fans, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. But, yeah, I think, in all honesty, like, I'm not sure Luke Rockhold's got any sort of chin left. Like, I mean, he wears like a shin sleeve because he had like a cut on his leg that got like infected, and then he ended up with like a hole in his shin, so he has to wear like a shin sleeve and stuff. And I just don't know whether that might be like, before anyone comes at me, because I've made a few things on here, people had it. That's not like a medically exactly what happened, but something along them lines happened. But yeah, I don't think he's got much of a chin left, if I'm totally honest. And I think Paulo Costa's he's a weird guy. He's like, he's hot and cold, but I think he carries enough power to probably just finish this one. And I think he'll probably finish it early as well, just because, I just don't think there's anything there left with Luke Rockhold to really be operating at this sort of level. But look, I'm here to be sort of proven wrong, but that's just the way I see it. But
give your opinion, everyone's got one.
Exactly. But there's loads of good fights on the prelims and the early prelims and stuff, but I'll save them for the betting show. But, the main three events, obviously Usman versus Edwards, hope Edwards does it. Then you've got them two crazy dudes in the co-main, and then the King of Rio in the co-main. So one worth staying up for, and one I'll be staying up for with a baby in my arms feeding it.
Yeah, on the betting show as well, which you do the breakdown. Had a bit of luck last week, got a 4-1 in.
To be honest, we were quite... Yeah, you got your 4-1 in, didn't you, on the footy, which is great. Then I won 2-1 on the betting show, but then we had another couple of losing bets. One of them was a draw, and one of them we got done on. I was annoyed, but yeah, I said last week, just keeping on the betting and the MMA, that last week was a very small sort of window. Yeah. This week, obviously, as we're going to talk about the boxing, it's huge. So if you are looking for a little bet this weekend, come on over and join us. I'm sure we'll get some winners.
Yeah, that show goes out on a Saturday, and part of the kind of package when you pay £1 a week for Patreon. So get on that.
If you don't win in boxing, you win in footy. Can't argue.
So on to the boxing then, lad. The biggest fight. Well, it's kind of at the end. I seen he posted on it. Was like his 3 big fights in the next 3 months are pretty big when you kind of see his post. It was obviously Joshua this month. I think is it Canelo the next one, and then
Canelo Triple G, yeah, and then Benn
Eubank. So
you haven't spoken about that, have
you? No. It's the first of 3 then, I guess, isn't it? One that you absolutely called perfectly last time. I guess the big question is, which I already know the answer to, is it revenge or repeat?
It's a repeat, isn't it? Like, I mean, it's hard because I actually like Joshua. Like, I know loads of people don't, but I think he's brilliant. And I think all this stuff of like what he's done for British boxing is true, because without him, like, it's not as big as it is now. Like, it's just a fact. Like, he come along in 2011, 2012. The sport was on its arse. It was on its arse. Like, you couldn't sell out the Olympia in Liverpool, never mind the Echo Arena. Like, you just couldn't do it. And he brought intrigue back for a lot of people. So I think this bashing of him is quite unfair. But I just, I've said it on this show so many times. I think Usyk's one of the best to ever box, period. Like, he could hang with anyone in any era. And I just think Joshua's just coming up against someone of that ilk, someone who's that good. And I don't think he should be bashed. Like, I've seen Johnny Nelson this week saying if he gets beat, he needs to retire. I was like, that's crazy. Like, if you go in any other industry and you get beat by someone who's one of the best, it's like you sort of, getting back into your running and competing and getting beat by like a world record holder and going, fuck it, I'm never, ever, ever running again. It's not happening. Stupid, isn't it? Like,
I guess with that sport, though, it's like with him being at the top for so long, it's like, I don't think people can separate the two of Joshua being the number one and now Joshua just being accepted as like the second best or third best in the world. I think people can't really, associate themselves with Joshua just not being the number one.
Yeah, I just think, like, I break it down, like, in boxing, I think, if you go really from the bottom, you've got, like, sort of regional level fighters that might be, within Liverpool, and then you've got, like, domestic fighters, and then you've got European fighters, world champions, and then you've got, like, an elite level of fighter where, like, they're even bigger than the belts. They're too good for the belts. They're too good for the division. And I think Usyk just is that. Like, you've got to remember, like, he's obviously, like, he unified unified the cruiserweight division, then went up to heavyweight, and he's done the same. Like, he's a freak, like, and he should be sort of respected as a freak, and then Joshua should then in turn get his respect. But I think as a fight, Joshua's probably got, in my opinion, 4 rounds. I think. I mean, if he comes out to try and box him again, which would be noble but stupid, because he can't win a boxing fight with him. It's just they could box him 200 rounds over the next month, and he wouldn't win. It just wouldn't happen. So I think Joshua just needs to revert to type and, just go after Usyk and just hope that he lands something that gets his respect, and then he can try and finish him. But the problem with that is, if Joshua does come out aggressive, that's like, Bull and Matador, and there's no better Matador in the world than Usyk, because all he'll do is just lead you on to something that he wants to hit you with. Just watch the Tony Bellew fight. He let Tony Bellew do everything he could, even convince some of the boxing commentators and stuff that Bellew was winning the fight, until the point that Bellew had done for 7 rounds more work than he probably done in his entire career, and then he got knocked out. So Joshua's going to have a serious gas tank to live with him. He's going to need to be honest, I mean, as much as I like to do technical breakdowns and sort of all this stuff, he just needs to land a Hail Mary. Like, he needs to throw a right hand that might hit Usyk and by some way, shape or form, buckle his legs or hit him with a body shot or something. Because if he doesn't, he's just a sitting duck.
Yeah, it does feel like it's going to be a long night unless he does land one of those big...
Because if he gets to round 5 and, Usyk's just like as fresh as he was in round 1, if you watch any of Usyk's career, all he does from round to round is get better and better and better and better. Like, in the first fight, there's a period in the middle rounds, I think it's like 5 to 7, where, like, Adam Smith and Matt Macklin are saying, oh, Joshua won that round. And then from 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, Usyk just goes to another level and almost stops him in the last round. And I think there's rumours that Usyk's put on like 15 kilograms, which I don't believe. He said he's just naturally gained weight just through training. I don't believe he's put on that much, but I think if he hurts Joshua this time, I don't think he'll let him off the hook at all. And I just, as I said, I think he's probably got 12 minutes to do something, anything. But he's going to have to walk through fire to try and get to Usyk. And is he really prepared? He can say what he wants, but is he really prepared to, like, going back to the McGregor thing, is he really prepared to put his gloves by the side of his face and just walk through Usyk to try and get to him? Because as much as people don't think so, I mean, from his career, he's always laid people out, but people don't label him as a puncher still for some unknown reason. It's going to hurt trying to get to him, isn't it? It's going to hurt a lot. And I think, for Joshua, it's he either stands there and he gets embarrassed, or he walks through and he gets hurt to try and land something, and that's on him, which one he chooses. But whichever way it goes, I just don't think you'll see anything other than the same results the first time, and probably in a bit more of a spectacular fashion.
On the undercard, it seemed for weeks and weeks there was a bit of an underwhelming undercard. Has it changed much? As I know Callum Smith's on there, but
Callum Smith's on there, and Filip Hrgovic against Zhang, which is a big heavyweight fight that'll be over in about 15 seconds. But other than that, it's just the Prince's Saudi's mate. He's just throwing loads of lads he likes on the undercard. Like Badu Jack's on there because he's got a relationship with him. Andrew Tabiti. I mean, Ramla Ali is really setting some precedent. I think she's the first professional female on like a big card in Saudi Arabia, which is...
Hang on a minute. How are they letting her fight, which is great, by the way, but then throwing someone else in jail for being on Twitter?
Nuts. The nuts. But yeah, she's on there, and then You've actually got Ben Whittaker, who was a late addition, who was an Olympic silver medalist, who training under Sugar Hill with Tyson Fury. But get on this, training with Sugar Hill and Tyson Fury, managed by Anthony Joshua.
Yeah.
How about that for crossing worlds? But we're not talking about Tyson Fury today. Like we're not doing it. We're not doing it. But
I was gonna do, but yeah, I was.
We'll do a roundup at the end. But it is getting weirder by the day. But so obviously, but the good fight on the card is Callum Smith against Bordelais. I think obviously Callum wants better behave, and he's training now with Buddy McGirt. But Bordelais looks, from what I've watched so far this week, he looks a bit better than his record would suggest. But it's Callum. I mean, he knocked out Castillo, didn't he, in his first fight on the Joshua undercard? But he's been out again for another year. He probably needs some rounds, really, if he's going to go into a better behave fight. He needs to be in the ring. He needs to sort of grow into the division. But it's tough for him because he just punches that hard against this level of opposition. I know Canelo, was able to overcome it and stuff, but if you're not Canelo, it just seems like Callum's going to get you. If you're not one of them elite fighters, and it's tough because he probably needs someone who's going to test him a little bit. Because you look, I know he's, Callum's made a lot of money now from the World Boxing Super Series and obviously fighting Canelo, but like in the last couple of years, he's not had that many rounds. So, I know he had 12 rounds. He had 12 rounds with Canelo where he got beat, but then, that was in December of 2020. And then in September of 2021, he had 2 rounds with Gilbert Lennon Castillo, and then we're now in August of 2022, and he's fighting again.
Rounds in 2 years, really, isn't it?
That's what I mean. He hasn't had any time in the ring. He's got a new trainer with Buddy McGirt. I think if Callum went the distance this weekend, it would be the best thing for him, because he could sort of grow into this division so that he's in a good place to fight better BF when it comes around. But it's just whether Mateusz Bordelais is good enough to take him them rounds, and that's sort of something that we'll see. But yeah, I mean, for anyone watching, anyone who's interested, forget about all the politics of Eddie and Sky Sports. I know this is on Sky Sports, but Sky, mate, I hate all this stuff. I'm just telling people to forget about it. But Sky have got the rights to this, but Eddie left them. And I know Eddie is Marmite to get it, but they haven't interviewed him or put him in front of the screen once. Like, why wouldn't you use him?
Yeah.
Like, you can't have, when it comes to business, like, though, you can't have emotions. Like, if it makes money, it makes sense. Do you know what I mean? Like, get him. If you put Eddie in front of the camera, you're getting more pay-per-view buys.
Yeah.
Like, it's just fact. It's happening. But yeah, there we are. I think it's a great, it's a great fight. It's not the greatest card in the world, but there's some interest on there. And then obviously, it's a massive heavyweight fight. No one's going to miss it who's got a remote interest in boxing. Even my mum's talking about it, which when I know it's a big fight.
Yeah. The last thing we will see on that, mate, is the Tyson Fury circus of just like, I think people are now getting onto the fact what we've been saying for ages now of just like, you're fucking boring us now, mate. Like, pick what you want to do and then do it. No one's asked if you're changing your mind every 2 minutes.
Yeah, my Arthur is the biggest Tyson Fury fan, and I went to watch the Liverpool game with him, the Palace game, and he went, and for the record, Tyson Fury can fuck off. He's like, I've had enough. I've washed my hands with him. I've had enough. I said, I've told you this. But like, do you know what's going to happen? And I'll tell you now, and we'll clip this up in a couple of years. He'll stop and he'll come back at 39 and he'll get beat by like Daniel Dubois or something. Someone who should never be in the ring with him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because money's never going to be enough for Tyson Fury. It's not like.
I don't even think it's money with him. I think it's just fucking he likes people talking about him. He likes this, us fucking going on about him.
I also think like when there's a Joshua fight on, I almost think like his ego is like,
yeah,
the chimp inside him's like, you need to talk about us.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I know.
Wouldn't surprise me, lad, if the fucking hour after he wins or something, he's on Instagram again going, I'm back in or something,
Yeah, I know. But he'll only come back if Joshua fights. I tell people this all the time, and everyone tells me Tyson Fury will beat Usyk, but he will never get in the ring with Alexander Usyk. Won't happen. No, because he just won't. He'll get in there with Joshua because he knows that, in a not ideal world, but chances are that he'd probably be able to ride Joshua's punches enough to wear him down. With Usyk, he doesn't know what's happening. I know he likes to call him a middleweight, but What if he can't do that to Usyk? What if Usyk is a freak? Do you know what I mean? And Tyson Fury meets his match. I think he knows that it's sort of heading that way. But yeah, I think if Joshua was somehow to win this weekend, Tyson Fury would be on Instagram Live, rapid, oh, no onion.
But like you say, though, lad, I do not think that will happen.
No. Well, we haven't. We should finish. I know it's a massive week, but we probably should have done it the other way around. What do you think on the old Conor Benn and Eubank thing? Are you in or?
Yeah and no. I'm excited about it because it is that kind of, just for what it is, what they've built it as. You know, the dad's there and all that. It's kind of almost like they've been. It feels like they've been on like a collision course now because of how it's been built up and stuff and all that. However, there is a bit of me that thinks like these two, just on pure boxing merit, should never be in the same ring together. Do you know what I mean?
No.
Because of the weight differences, because of the different career trajectories, and it's just like everything I hate about, you know, boxing should just be about the best fighting the best and trying to get to the top. This just stinks of social media. It'll make loads of money, so let's just do it.
Yeah.
But it's got me though, so it's worked. So
yeah, it's gonna be a huge event, like. But you are right. I mean, for me, Chris Eubank Jr. has won the lottery because he's getting paid an absolute multi-million-pound fortune for this. He's fighting someone who's smaller than him. I'm a big Benn fan. We know that, but it's not like he's a world-class welterweight yet. He's never won a domestic title. So Eubank's fighting.
Like, it's just
fighting a smaller man with who's being hurt by welterweights, who at welterweight punches a bit, but not like scary. And he's only got to come down £4. And if he wants to sacrifice £1 and just come down 3, he's only got to pay 100 grand. Mate, honestly, God, I think Chris Eubank must be sitting down thinking, how have I landed this? Like, because as much as I don't rate Eubank's technical ability as a boxer, and I think that his dad's a lemon, it's like he's got a great chin.
Yeah.
So the worst thing that's going to happen to him on October the 8th is he's going to get beat on points. So what? He was nowhere near a world title anyway. He's 32, 33 years of age. No, he's never going to get a genuine world title. He's never going to get a shot at one. So he's made multi-million pounds to get beat on points and retire. Sound, no problem. Best case scenario, he knocks out a welterweight and they go, oh my God, Chris Eubank Jr. is back. He's the second coming. He gets put in a world title fight for more millions and gets beat and then retires. So he either makes multi-millions or he makes multi-millions. Either way, he's made multi-millions.
And that's, like I said to you, that's what's making me not want to get invested in it. But then I'm a sucker for like this kind of stuff, so that's why I'm invested.
Mate, the circus will be able to play for that fight. They'll have the dads on telly. They'll have the dads scrapping. The dads will be squaring up to each other. Eddie Hearn will be on IFL TV or whatever, the zone, saying, listen, I had to separate Benn and Eubank last night. They were going to kill each other. It's going off. We're going to have to get security in the ring. All that.
Yeah.
The
thing I will finish on actually for this one, the sports show, mate, is I am now, wonder if you can guess why, but I am super invested into the NFL now. I've just started getting involved in it.
I told you this. Up the Chicago Bears.
Mate, fucking Chicago Cubs, Chicago Bears, Chicago fucking Panthers, mate.
Detroit Panthers. The Detroit Lions.
If Laura Woods is game, I'm game. So that's my new sport, mate.
You being yours with the American flag on. Ian.
I'm doing a Darren Farley with my American helmet on.
You'll be shouting for made up teams, but yeah, Woodsy's the face of ITV NFL, isn't she?
Yeah, mate, I'm all in.
Yeah, I'm there. I'm big on the. I'm told you I'm spreading my wings in the world of sport and fancy football league, but yeah, I'm in for the NFL this season. Can't wait to chop it up about
that. Yeah. Right, everyone, it's the end of the show. I need to go and watch my mate get married.
Enjoy.
Betting show will be out on Saturday. Get involved in that again. It's £1 a week. Patreon.com/Legged Podcast. It's all in the bio. Get involved in that. Come support the boys. Don't be a minge bag. Big shout out again to all our sponsors. All the links are in the description. And we will see you next week. Nice one.